Lesson 4-9. What else? Multiplying decimals. By now, hopefully you're starting to feel confident in your skill with this business of multiplying decimals. And one of the wrinkles that you'll see in this lesson as we get further along is cases where we're taking a decimal and multiplying it by factors of 10 that have exponents. Let's get started. We'll focus on the odds. Number 1, 9 3/10 multiplied by 100. Let's clear out our decimal point. Whoop. One push will do it. 93 multiplied by 100. Can you do this as mental math? Well, let's cover up our zeros. Multiply 93 times 1. And then add our zeros back in. But now we've got to come in one spot from the end with the decimal point. Pew! And we get 930 and 0/10, which looks a little goofy. So I'm just going to call this 930. Number 3, 13 hundredths multiplied by 60. Clear the decimal point out. Whoop, whoop. 2 pushes will do it. We've got 13 multiplied by 60. Can you do this as mental math? Well, maybe not. We haven't all necessarily memorized our 13 times facts, but we can see that if we cover up the 0, solving this would be like doing 13 times 6 and then adding a 0. So let's do that. 13 times 6, I'll help you out on this one. 13 times 6 is going to be 78. Add a 0. So 13 times 60 is 78 plus a 0. It's 780. Now we're going to come in 2 places from the end. Pew, pew! And insert our decimal point. We'll get 7 80 hundredths. Number 5, 3 7/10 multiplied by 8 7/10. Clear out our decimal points. Whoop, whoop. 2 pushes will do it. 37 multiplied by 87. Let's solve. First row, 7 times 7 is 49. 9 comes down, 4 gets carried. 7 times 3 is 21, plus the 4 is 25. First row is complete. Let's put our 0 placeholder down. Second row, it's 37 multiplied by 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 6 comes down, 5 gets carried. 8 times 3 is 24, plus the 5 is 29. Add up our columns. 9 and 0 is 9. 5 and 6 is 11. 1 comes down, 1 gets carried. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 and 9 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. Now coming from the end, pew, pew. We get 32 and 19 hundredths. Number 7, 1 6/10 multiplied by 1 7/10. Whoop, whoop. 2 pushes will do it. 7 times 6 is 42. The 2 comes down, 4 gets carried. 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 4 is 11. First row is complete. Put our 0 placeholder down. Second row, 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. 2 and 0 is 2. 1 and 6 is 7. 1 and 1 is 2. And then come in from the end 2 places. Pew, pew. 2 and 72 hundredths. Okay, in this next section, we are dealing with exponents. And so for this problem 9, I'm going to talk you through it the long way, and then we will identify a pattern and do it in more of a shortcut method for the next couple to follow. So as you know, when you see an exponent, the way I read this is 10 to the first power, 10 to the second power, 10 to the third power. Remember, 10 to the first power is a multiplication statement that has the number 10 appearing one time. So it just looks like plain old 10. 10 to the second power is not 10 times 2. It's a multiplication statement where the number 10 appears twice. So this is 10 times 10. 10 to the third power is not 10 times 3. It's 10 times 10 times 10. Okay. So for 3/10 multiplied by 10, let's work that out as kind of a side calculation. 3/10 multiplied by 10. Clear out my decimal point. Whoop. One push will do it. 3 times 10 is 30. And then I know I've got to come in one spot from the end to insert my decimal point. I get an answer of 3 0/10, or just plain old 3. For this next one, 3/10 multiplied by 10 to the second power. Well, 10 to the second power is 10 times 10, or 100. So let's work that out here. 3/10 times 100. Clear out my decimal point. Whoop, one push will do it. 3 times 100 is 300. And then I've got to come in one place from the end. Get an answer of 30. Next up, 3/10 times 10 to the third power. 10 to the third power is 1,000. Side calculation. Clear my decimal point out. One push will do it. 3 multiplied by 1,000 is 3,000. And I got to come in one spot from the end. I get an answer of 300. Look at the pattern. When I started with 3/10 and multiplied it by 10, my decimal point shifted one place to the right. 3/10 became 3. When I took 3/10 and multiplied it by 100, my decimal point shifted one place, two places to the right to get 30. Imagine that a decimal point was here, and we did 2 pushes. 3/10 multiplied by 1,000. Imagine that the decimal point was here, and now we've done 1, 2, 3 pushes to the right to reinsert a decimal point. Now let's see if we can apply that same pattern here. 8 and 21/100ths. This is where the decimal point starts. It's sitting right between the 8 and the 2. I'm going to take this decimal and multiply it by 10. That means I am moving or shifting the decimal point one place to the right. And I'm going to get 82 and 1/10. Now, 8 and 21/100ths times 10 to the second power, or 100. I'm going to move or push this decimal point 2 places to the right. I'm going to get 821. Down here, 8 and 21/100ths times 1,000. I'm going to push this decimal point 3 places to the right. 1 push, 2 pushes, 3 pushes. Notice that blank spot that we'll insert a 0 there. 8,210. 13. 4 and 600ths multiplied by 10. Take this decimal point, push it one spot or one place over to the right. 40 and 6/10. Now, how many pushes am I moving the decimal point if it started here and ended up here? And you can imagine the decimal point right here. It was here, I did 1, 2 pushes. So it would be like taking 4 and 6/10 and multiplying that by 10 to the second power. Down here, I'm taking this decimal and multiplying it by 10 to the third power, or 1,000. 3 pushes are needed. 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes. 4,060. 15. Jason purchased a roll of 100 stamps. The stamps cost 44 cents each. How much did the entire roll of 100 stamps cost? Okay, so we're going to take the cost of one stamp, 44 cents, and multiply it by 100. Let's see if we can solve this using mental math. I can clear out my decimal point by doing 2 pushes. Whoop, whoop. 44 times 100 is 44 with 2 zeros at the end. But then I have to come in 2 places. Pew, pew. To reinsert my decimal point, and I get an answer of $44.